Welcome back, boils and ghouls, to the Museum of Modern Art. Yes. There's been so much going on here at the museum that it's going to take 2 episodes, apparently, to get it all in. Yes, indeed. So this is part 2. Hopefully you saw part 1. If you didn't see part 1, go to darkestjack.com, dig it up. That way you can catch up, and then you can watch this one. Or if you're watching this live, just watch this one and then go back. Yes. But no, we're not at the Museum of Art. Not at all. We're at the Creation Entertainment's Weekend of Horrors, and it is a time to die for. So, join me, won't you? Let's go die.
From now on, your doors will be locked during sleeping hours. We'll start a policy of evening sedation for everybody.
The fuck you will! Anybody tries drugs on me, get his ass kicked!
You just bought yourself a night in the quiet room, mister. Now sit down.
Fuck you! You sit down!
Easy, Kincaid.
Nobody gonna put me to sleep! Man, get away from me, man. Let me alone, man. I don't want to go to sleep. Ain't nobody gonna put me to sleep. I don't want to go to sleep. Man, ain't nobody gonna put me to sleep. Get your hand. I ain't going to sleep.
And you brought such a wonderful comic relief and yet strength to both of the films. What did you try to bring to the character of Kincaid?
Realism, realism for what it was for at the time. It was, I wanted Kincaid to be a real person. Kincaid dream wasn't like fantasy or anything. It was strength, but I think he had enough gift, strength to talk at the mouth, to go head to head with Freddy Krueger. So I think that was an added thing. That was not a dream. That was just who he was.
Absolutely, absolutely. Do you have any specific memory that you'd like to share? Something that really sticks out in your mind?
Well, there was several for me. So I mean, because Kincaid, I don't know if you know it, he's the first African American to ever survive a major horror film and return to a sequel. So I'm grateful about that. So he was representing in so many ways. And so, but I kind of like remember the junkyard scene that was in part 4. That was stands out to me. And the other scene was in the down in the dungeon where we fought Freddy. That stands out to me because those was scenes that took a long time to film, and they was intense scenes and stuff like that. So, they stand out to me. So.
And how was it working with Robert Englund? Was he a lot of fun to play opposite of, or?
He was great. He was one of the best actors that you could work with and learn about acting with on camera. And then when he said cut, he was an extremely good big brother to everybody on the scene. So he was nothing like that character. So.
Oh, that's terrific, terrific. And does Freddy visit you in your dreams still?
He's never visited me in my dream. I got other things to do with my dreams. So, no, I never had any of those problems, But, actually, I never heard of Nightmare on Elm Street until audition.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us. And do you have any final words for our viewers at home?
Yeah, I got a script novel coming out called Latch of the Shadow, and I have a new script novel book coming out called The Genesis Experiment. And if you would go to the Sagoescompany.com, www.sagoescompany.com, and you can read a lot more about them. They're The Latch of the Shadow is kind of like a cross between Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, and Friday the 13th, all in one. And I guarantee you will love it. It's half book, half novel.
Well, that sounds absolutely fantastic. Make sure you check it out. I know I'm dying to.
Ooh, girl, I am so dead on my feet.
We have matching luggage.
What do you mean?
You didn't sleep last night?
It's not obvious, huh?
Then you saw him too.
Saw who? I mean, I was up all night cramming for that physics test. Oh, and I was putting this little baby together. Well, you know how Dad's afraid of bugs. Well, I made it for her. Ultra high sound waves. Make them run, screaming their antennas off. Well, look, I'll see you in class, okay?
I don't smoke.
Well, boys and ghouls, we are continuing our trip down Elm Street. Yes, indeed. And I've got two drop-dead gorgeous ladies with me right now. Is there any one particular moment that really sticks out for you?
Oh, God. Starts with that question. You know, there's several, but I think the one that kind of pops out is I hate to say this, I'm scared of horror movies, deathly afraid. So when we were shooting, I wasn't there, but Tuesday was shooting at the boiler room scene out in Pasadena, remember that? And I hadn't met Robert yet, and so I was walking up the dirt road, and it was dark, and he was coming up the other side fully made up. And I just, like, freaked out. And he freaked out and went all into it, and I was like, am I really going to do this movie? I don't know if I can, so that's one that off-camera that stands out the most.
I love it. I love it. And how about you?
Oh, gosh. I should have been preparing an answer while I was listening to Toy, but I was too fascinated with her story. So a favorite memory, well, meeting Toy Newkirk, of course.
Of course.
I probably just, meeting Robert Englund and gosh, a specific story. What I remember. Wearing the day of Freddy makeup was an interesting one. How about an unforgettable day? If not my favorite day, an unforgettable day was wearing Freddy makeup for 12 hours. And God bless that man, because how he could wear that day after day after day. Because it's so strange, it's like you feel it, and then you look in the mirror and you're like, oh! You know, and then like to eat, like the lips and like it's very strange. And also it's this layer, so it makes your face bigger. I felt like I had some kind of big face disease or something, you know what I mean? It was just really weird. Like a blowfish. Yeah. Scarred blowfish.
Now, what, character-wise, both of you, so one can prepare while the other one answers. The character, especially your character, strength-wise, a very strong character. What did you bring from your own personality into the character?
What I brought my own personality, I mean, I really feel I was Alice. I lived the life of Alice, like in grade school, 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade. I was a total daydreamer. I had very few friends. I have a couple close friends, but I lived in my books and my imagination. I didn't care about boys. I didn't care about, I was very shy, quiet, young girl. So, and then when we moved to California, it's from Missouri. And then this started to bloom a bit. It was a whole new energy in California. And we went to Barbizon modeling school. Did you know that, Toy? And all of a sudden I went, oh, makeup, you know, and things like that. So I found my own in high school finally. And so I feel like I lived those arcs that Alice did. And a time when it's time to take own of your own life and not be so frightened or be a daydreamer. It's not really made about fright. It's kind of a choice to not get involved because it's less painful that way.
Completely understand. It's like what we do here at the Darkest Hours. Constant daydreaming. That's all this is. You're probably dreaming at home right now.
I ain't putting down daydreaming. It's good to have a little balance, so you know what I mean? A little balance.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Toy, how about you? What did you bring to the character? What did you want to really infuse the character with?
That's interesting. I was not a scientist. I think chemistry, I know I failed. So I think it's really funny that it was true acting.
And well done.
Because I knew nothing about that world. No, I'm joking. No, I did all right in school. But I think, probably just her feistiness, her willingness to really say, I can invent it, do it my way. And I think if that's a part of that character that is coming from Toy, probably that. But outside of that, and being book smart and that I was the little one that was, the cheerleader and really popular and go out and party and no, not really. I'm lying.
And do you have any projects going on in the future, or then in the now, I should say?
Well, I have a couple. I have one called Imago, done by a company called Upstart Films, and actually they just sold one of their movies called Walking Distance to. Actually, they changed the name for it, but they sold it to Lionsgate.
Oh,
it's called Psychotic Circle now or something. But anyway, I knew it as Walking Distance. So a really young, fresh production company, and so did Imago. It'll be finished soon, and then they're doing another film soon, A Light On, which will be filmed in New Orleans in the fall.
Oh, very
so
cool.
I'll be in that. And then I did a film called Sebastian for Gruntworks Entertainment, and have a great, I play this crusty old, mean old, bitter woman. Great part. I never get to play those, actually. So yeah, a few things in the works,
Well, definitely we'll have to keep your eyes peeled on her. Yes, indeed.
Oh, and Savage, which is a good old Bigfoot movie.
Oh, love Bigfoot.
Yeah, so there's that one. Okay, yeah.
Okay, you got that? You've all got that. And you just hanging out?
Yeah, no, I retired. I stopped acting. I've been acting for about 27 years by the time I had stopped. I started when I was 5, so there you guys do the math. And then I started producing. I'm a television producer. Have been for about 10 years now, and I come out only to hang with my friends and and meet the band. So I just kind of, I moved to the other side of the camera, and I'm absolutely loving it.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Now we've got someone to produce our show. You see how this works? Yes, indeed. Well, thank you so much, both, for taking the time. Do you have any final words?
Do you want to suck face?
Well said, well said.
F and A.
And there you are.
F and A, have a great day.
All of you have this inner strength, some special power that you've had in your most wonderful dreams. Together, we can learn to use that power if we try.
And you've got a new film coming out. Can you give us a little taste?
Well, a couple years back, we had the 25th anniversary of A Nightmare on Elm Street, and I happened to be invited to a lot of conventions that year. And my sister-in-law, we were working together at the time, she said, why don't we get a camera crew and go out on the road with you and just see what it's like to be Nancy and see how much fans love Nancy. And we had some fans we were working with who were covered in tattoos. I mean, just tattoos all over their bodies. And other fans would bring me their gloves that they had made at home. And so we decided that we really wanted to attack our movie from the point of view of, why Freddie Mania and not Nancy Mania? Like, why has Freddie gotten all the attention in the past 25 years and Nancy doesn't get as much? And so it's kind of tongue-in-cheek. We just really wanted to go to these conventions and look for all the Nancy stuff and find the Nancy doll and look for the Nancy poster and find the Nancy pajamas, and of course those don't exist, right? So it was very funny, and we interviewed Robert Englund, of course, who interviewed Wes Craven, and we try to get their perspective of who Nancy is. And what I found out at the end of the movie is that she's really like an amazing cultural icon on her own. And through my interviews with fans, they told me some incredible stories about how Nancy had become an inspiration for them in their own personal battles with their own personal Freddies. And so by the end of the documentary, I asked the question, "What's your Freddy?" And I got a lot of really amazing responses. And I learned, you know, everyone's pretty much dealing with a lot of bad stuff all the time. And people who were able to look at their battle as Nancy versus Freddy, they actually could kind of conquer what they had going on in their own life with a little bit more sense of humor or a little bit more perseverance. And that becomes the thing I become most proud of about the show.
And that is definitely something to be extremely proud of. And, you know, Nancy is truly one of the first iconic horror heroines, such a strong female character. And you brought such a life to it and such a power and a presence to the character.
Well, I mean, I think I would differ with what you just said in that she's not a powerful female character. She's really just a powerful character, and that we have to stop looking at her as just a girl. That she's like a human being that does something that is not rare for girls, really. It's just nobody put him in movies before.
Is it just more of the character and the impact?
Yeah, I really try not to focus on myself. I really decided that interview and Never Sleep Again, I mean, I hope I never have to do an interview like that again. It was so long, and I pretty much talked about everything that there was to talk about. So on this one, I really take the camera and focus it outwards, and I realized that I'm not that much of a part of Nancy in some ways. It's the imagination and the creativity of the fans themselves that keep her living on. And I mean, it could have been any actor to play that part, but I think the part would still be a very important part in film history.
Well, you definitely brought some of your own characteristics to it that made it such a lasting character, I feel, personally.
I think that Wes wrote a character for the ages, and I mean, I feel honored that I was able to put what I had into that character. But the character stands alone, it really does. And I mean, you flatter me by saying that, but after talking to Wes and hearing what he put into that character and writing her, is that it's just, she's so fantastic in so many of her qualities. And I do believe there's many actresses out there who play those same kinds of characters in film.
Well, this is definitely a must-see film and get film. So where can people, the ghouls at home, where can they...
The ghouls, well, they can order it on my website, which is iamnancy.net, NancyNet, that's why I picked .net. And then Amazon.com will have it as of Friday, the 20th of May. And then I hope to get a distribution deal. I really want everyone to see it on television, or, you know, I'll figure out something, but I'm just starting that process right now.
Well, definitely keep your eyes peeled for it. Get it, see it, absolutely. Do you have any last words for the fans at home?
Be Nancy.
I am Jeff Schiefelbein. I'm the creator and owner of Sinister Pointe Haunted Attractions. Actually, we just signed a permanent... that happens. We just signed a permanent...
It's a great guitar.
Right. We have a permanent building. We're permanent.
Awesome.
Sinister Pointe is going permanent and year-round.
One maze of yours that I really enjoyed was the Fear Maze, which put you through the different tests of fear. It was actually kind of disturbing. What are you going for this year, as far as the theme goes, or...
Well, we haven't really released anything yet on the theme, but we're going that same route. We got so many compliments on and people that loved a lot of the interactivity and the things you had to do. So we're expanding on that. It's going to be a very interactive, choose-your-own-adventure style haunt. So as of right now, our designs will give you 16 different combinations through the haunt. So we'll probably most likely be selling a ticket that gives you an all-night pass, so you can go through multiple times and see all the different routes and ways you can go.
Oh, very cool.
So we're really excited about that.
And another thing that I really enjoyed about your maze is that it seems that you go for a little bit more of the psychological trauma over just the simple jump scares. Is it a conscious thing?
I think, we're kind of going more that, trying to combine your normal scares, your normal pop-outs and stuff. Everybody still needs that and wants that. So we're doing that, and then we're really kind of diving into really testing people's fears and stuff. I'm making them put their hands and stuff and sit, and, you know, under falling swords and stuff and see, you know, really test their bravery on a lot of stuff. And it's kind of fun and exciting. So
Where can all the ghouls at home get the deadly details?
Go to, we're everywhere. We're sinisterpointe.com. We're Facebook/SinisterPointe, Twitter/SinisterPointe. So you can pretty much find us anywhere. Google us, Sinister Pointe, and we'll pop up all over. But I think the thing I'm most excited about is not only is this going to be a permanent haunted house, not only, but it's going to be a whole year-round Halloween and horror facility. I mean, we're going to have a fully themed party area where people can rent it out for private parties, conventions, independent film festivals. If people want to do their horror photo shoots or video shots, anything they want to do, it's going to be 365 Halloween at our place.
Corpse, this is the fantastic artist known as Todd Robey. Say hello.
Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Todd.
So, it's been a killer year for you, has it?
It's been a crazy year, yeah. Since this thing last May, when I was here, when I first met you, I've had art shows pretty much almost every month for the last year. I've slept very little and worked a lot. I've never been so productive as I have in this last year.
See, and this is exactly what we like to hear here at the Darkest Hours. A very talented artist actually getting the recognition he deserves. This is wonderful. Now, one of the things that drew me to your work in the first place was the shadow boxes and the 3D art that you've been doing. Is that still your one of your main focuses, or?
Yeah, it takes a little bit longer, so I'm not able to produce those quite as much. I've started kind of doing a lot of stuff with cut paper, because paper cuts a little easier than wood. True. But the Chainsaw Stuffing Massacre here is about a few hours old. I finished that one up and got it all put together yesterday before delivering it.
And this is a familiar face here standing behind us. Why Freddy?
Well, that was actually one of the first scary movies I saw as a kid in the theater, you know, as opposed to like cable or something. And I remember it scared the crap out of me. And so he's got a special place in my heart. And then, you know, I saw that they were going to have the Nightmare panel here this weekend and all that. So this one's actually pretty new too.
So, and obviously, as you guys can see, this is killer stuff. And I know you want this hanging in your house. Where can people find out not only where they can get your stuff, but where you're going to be, the shows you're going to be at, and things like that?
You can find me on Facebook, The Art of Todd Robey. And I actually have a website now.
Congratulations.
So you can go to robyart.com, and I put work there for sale. You can contact me. I do commission work as well.
So this is Tippi Hedren, star of the amazing and personally my all-time favorite horror film of all time, The Birds.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for taking the time to talk with us today.
You're welcome.
So, speaking of The Birds, how was that filming? Was that an intense set? Was it a kind of a lighthearted set?
There were times when it was highly intense. There were times when it was hilariously funny. Sometimes easy, sometimes extremely difficult. There was never 2 days that were the same. It was an amazing film to do. And I can give you examples if you'd like.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
You know, when I go up to that room and we're all sitting around the fireplace and everybody's asleep and I hear a noise and I go, in the script it says she goes up the stairs. I said, Mr. Hitchcock, why would she do that? Why would she go up there knowing what has happened to the people in the town, the children, the man who's had his eyes pecked out? I mean, all these horrible things were happening. Why would she do that? And he said, he thought for a moment, and he said, because I tell you to. I said, fine, okay. The exteriors were done up in Bodega Bay, and then we had to bring things, we had to bring props down to the studio. So the telephone booth was brought down to Universal, and we did the scene there with me inside. And they had told me that it was shatterproof glass, and it wasn't.
Oh my gosh.
And when one of the fake birds from high in the rafters on a wire came down and hit the glass, it shattered. And we spent the afternoon picking little shards of glass out of my face, this side of my face.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
At the end of the movie, it just ends of corpse, as you all know, just driving off with the birds everywhere, and it's left to the audience's imagination as to what happens. How would you have ended it? I mean, what do you think happens after you drive away?
Well, you know, in the Daphne du Maurier story, did you read it? The short story that Daphne. Well, in that story, it's the end of the world.
Okay.
And I kind of think that that's the way it should end. You know, and one afternoon, Mr. Hitchcock brought all of us into his office, and he wanted to talk about endings. And the one that I liked the best was when the family drives off. We are driving, and then we see the Golden Gate Bridge, and it's covered with birds. And then you see the arches in St. Louis, covered with birds. The Statue of Liberty, covered with birds. The Eiffel Tower, the mosques in Russia, everything. The pyramids, the Taj Mahal, everything is covered with birds. And I thought that would be really wonderful. Of course, it would have been very expensive.
Now, are you a fan of the horror genre at all? Do you enjoy those movies?
Yes, I do. I enjoy the horror and just movies that are scary. I like them a lot. I also like the 40s movies. But I think some of the horror films are, they really can frighten you terribly. And they're done so well that it's, which makes them fun. I've turned them off at night sometimes because I think, oh my God, I'm starting to get really creeped out about this. But I do watch them often.
Now, of course, everyone knows you surrounded by birds, but there's also something else that you are surrounded by in the animal kingdom.
Yes.
Can you tell us about that?
Yes. From 1972 to today's date, which is 2011, we have been rescuing lions, tigers, leopard, mountain lions, servals that have been born in the United States to be sold as a pet or for financial gain. So it's been a real labor of love. We know these animals so well. We know all of their characteristics, their personality traits.
Who out there doesn't love animals? I know I love animals, and of course you love animals. And it's definitely a very precious commodity to our world to protect them, especially with the population going the way it's going. So
we are open. We're rather exclusive. We're only open one weekend a month. We're not a zoo. But you have to make a reservation and a donation, and it's about a 2.5 hour planned program, and it's a wonderful afternoon. You'll have to come out and see us.
I would absolutely love to.
Yes, please do.
Everybody out there, if you're in the Southern California area or planning on coming to the area, definitely look into it, make some reservations, come out and see it.
And the website is shambhala.org. That's SHAMBALA.org.
Wonderful. Bookmark it. And do you have any final words for the ghouls at home?
Well, if you think some of these movies are scary, you ought to come out and see some of these lions and tigers and how tough and scary they can be.
Okay. All right. That's it. We're done. We've done this. And what an amazing time it's been, huh? Yes, sir, the Weekend of Horrors. Next year, make sure you're here. I mean, obviously, look what you've missed. Look what you've missed. Well, you've missed me. You could have met me if you were here. I mean, you could have met all these amazing people like we did. So, definitely stay tuned to the Monster Channel and darkestjack.com for more goodies coming to you from the mansion. and the darkest hours. Until next slime, kiddies. Sweet nightmares.